very early in the competition. This is the hurdles from the front, Korea. They easily qualified in that time of 13-14.
Well, joining him into the semi-finals will be the Frenchman Emmanuel Romery, and it looked from our position like Germany Schwarthoff, and the man in lane number 3, Ania Garcia from Cuba, also made it. Or it might have been lane 1, Kozanovs from Latvia. Let's have a look at that. Certainly the 3 men down the middle made it in a battle, and I think it was lane 1, Kozanovs. He certainly thinks he got into that semi-final just by the skin of his teeth.
It's interesting to note that he ran very much to the side of his lane. That is Kazanov. And I'm actually surprised he didn't overstep, but he got it into the third place. And now he's going through to the next round along with Li Tong. That's into the semi-finals. China's Li Tong. Those in the 4 competitors through to the semi-finals of the 110-meter hurdle.
The men's hurdles, relative to the height of the athletes, really very high indeed, demanding a lot more height than in the women's hurdles. There's quite a lot more fluidity in the women's hurdles than there are in the men's high hurdles. Those high hurdles demanding really a heck of a lot of the athletes to get over them, let alone to run at those sort of speeds. Very tall men that we find in the men's high hurdles.
The draw for heat number 3, Edor Roy. We got Colin Jackson in there, lane number 3. A lot of questions about his form this season, but no doubt for the men to watch. The only man under 30 seconds, Eric Butter, Cuba, Igor Kovac, Slovakia, watch out for him, Mark McCoy. And, interesting to note, competing in the colours of Austria. Audrey Kishlik of Russia, and Sven Peters of Belgium. Those 8 competitors. And then from Cuba, Eric Butter, 23 years of age. Slovakia's Igor Kovac. And there he is, Mark McCoy in the colours of Austria.
Well, that's an interesting change of nation.
From Canada to Austria. He incidentally is the man who helped Donovan Bailey with his start in preparation for this game. Mark McCoy, quite well known, Sven Peters, and lane 8, the man from Belgium. Mark McCoy has got an incredibly effective start, getting up into the first hurdle, and it was to him that Donovan Bailey turned in preparation of this Olympic game with his start, because he traditionally does have a lot of problems with his start.
But watch Colin Jackson in lane number 3, the world record holder, 12.91 seconds. The class man certainly in terms of pedigree, but he'll have to go some to beat Mark Creer, who's the class man in terms of form. And Colin Jackson, more pressure on him now for his team Great Britain after Tony Jarrett fell out 2 races ago. A lot of tension down there at the start of these false starts. Last night, of course, the tensest moment of all with the men's 100 meters.
Igor Kovac acknowledging there that he was the man who caused the false start. Return to the high jump. So, very easy clearance, a lot of rhythm, not a lot of effort into that jump just yet. Still got some way to go in the men's high jump. Colin Jackson had a bit of knee problems, and that's the big thing that's been keeping him from those great times of his. He has run a 13:13 this season.
Well, let's take you through that draw once more. Claude Idor from Germany, George Boroy from Romania, Colin Jackson from Britain, Eric Butter from Cuba, Kovac from Slovakia, McCoy Austria, Sislik from Russia, and Peters from Belgium. Doesn't clean start this time. Jackson got away reasonably well, but it is the Austrian Mark McCoy, as you said, has got a great start, but Jackson hurdling very smoothly, and he's in the lead now, and it's Jackson, the world record holder, goes through comfortably on his outside. It is Bata from Cuba, also gets into that final. The first 4 go through, and Colin Jackson will heave a sigh of relief, knowing that he's made it through that particular path with no mishap at all.
It's also the Belgian Sven Peter who moved up very quickly at the end of that race. And in a slow motion from a different angle, we'll see exactly who the 4 qualifiers was, but there's no doubt about the winner. Colin Jackson, not a particularly fast time, but definitely well enough to get into the final. Mark McCoy very quickly onto the first hurdle alongside Colin Jackson, but thereafter it is Colin Jackson with his very effective ribbon pattern between the hurdles that just about runs him, and on his other side Eric Battle of Cuba staying up with him very effectively. And then we see on the outside Sven Peters moving up very quickly, and he might very well also be in there.
Yes, it certainly looked like Peters. Watch him. He is very quick over the last 30 meters or so. Peters from Belgium, young man, just turned 20, and he has a great future, and it looks like he will be in the semi-final. Remember, the first 4, and McCoy's finish in the red of the colours of Austria can't quite match his start. So back we go to the long jump. We'll have to hunt through to find number 1277, Jaime Jefferson from Cuba. And it really is quite remarkable how these Cuban athletes, a small nation, one would think not likely to dominate world athletics, but they are there all the time, popping up all over the show. And it is in a complete variety of events. They've got women in the heptathlon out there, they've got men in the long jump, sprinters, field event athletes, high jumpers, long jumpers. They're all over the show.
They do indeed have a very effective sports academy. Jefferson, not a young man, 34 years of age. He's always in there, always been in there, but he's always been fairly quiet, not even getting up to 8 meters, indicating to whoever wants to watch that he knows exactly what he's done wrong, but that's not exactly going to help him. Penultimate was quite effective, but he could have held that knee lift on the takeoff just a moment longer.
Back to the women's heptathlon. Shua from Syria is to fly in the javelin. This is one of her stronger events. She's likely to come through with a flourish towards the end. Before this event, she was lying second by just 6 points. And that's not 6 points in 10, it's 6 points in something like 5,000. So really nothing to choose between her and the leader. And Shua is really the favorite to take this title. So let's fly with the javelin. And she's very strong in the field events. One more to come after this is the 800 meters. I'll try and get an update on this for you. The 10th competition really demands a terrific amount of stamina and endurance. 55-70, and that's a very respectable javelin throw altogether. It is quite a good throw, even by javelin standards, let alone by heptathlon standards.
Indeed, we have the results of the second round that indicates that it was Sven Peters who actually moved up much quicker than before. He went into second position, Eric Batte into third, and it's George Baroy of Romania who is the 4th qualifier in that round. Moving on to number 4.
Well, the last of the 4 heats now in the men's 110-meter hurdle second round action. Once again, we have a number of top performers in there, not the least of which is this man, Alan Johnson, from the United States, with his patriotic dark glasses. And he is in lane number 3. Once again, the favourite's been placed in the middle of the field.
Incidentally, he won the US Olympic trials in a time of 12.92. Now that's the second fastest time in history, and it's just 100th of a second away of the world record. So he made his intentions of winning the gold here very clear.
D'Souza, Tollo, Johnson, Van der Cape, Valla, Melich, Kruker and Villach. And that's a good start there. And Johnson in the middle, and the Australian Kyle Van der Cape is on his outside. But watch the man in the blue and white, and outside of him is Valla from Cuba. Valla and Johnson, the two of them neck and neck. Doesn't really matter in this level because it's 4 to go through, And I think that Alan Johnson made sure that he didn't make any mistakes. Got up there with the Cuban, and the two of them definitely through to the final. And we'll wait for the replay. Kyle van der Cape, the Australian who did so well this morning to win his heat, was also in contention. We'll wait for those slow-mo replays to see if he managed to get into the top 4.
No doubt a very wise decision of Johnson to make very certain of his place in the final, not make the mistakes like Tony Jarrett did in that first heat. If you know you've got the ability, you've got the time to your credit, you are capable of making the final, rather play it safe. I do agree with you. Ian. Emilio Valle of Cuba dipping for the line. Well, we'll have to wait for the electronic device. There's the time photo. It does in fact look like Johnson is in first position, and as for third and fourth, let's just have a look at the end of that race in slow motion again.
Johnson comfortably over. Looks like that's the Cuban in the red closest to us, and coming through next will be the Australian in third place, although we don't see him. Wait for him to go through. Well, that's a desperate dip there. Why he dipped so frantically, we'll not really know, doesn't matter. Right in the middle there, the green of Australia is Kyle van der Cape, and on the outside it's the red of Poland, Meilich, who could well have got fourth place there. With lane 2, Andy Tollach of Great Britain just out of it in fifth place. So that wraps it up for the hurdles, and we'll now have a chance to focus back on the field events. The men's hurdles now settled, and we wait for the 16 runners to be named for the semi-finals.
That is the result of the final heat, and thus we have the 16 names of the runners through to the final for the 110-meter hurdles. Alan Johnson, Emilio Valle, Kyle van der Cape, and Christoph Meli. That's the 4 runners that qualified in heat number 4. Long jump qualifying. So that's the action down there, and we also have the final, the high jump for men. Actually, we'll pick up a little later. But Carl Lewis, the great Carl Lewis, the man himself, is on the runway, and no doubt he'll get a lot more cheers than he got in 1984. In 1984, people were fairly upset with him when he jumped, decided that's good enough for a gold, and put on his tracksuit and left the field. But in all fairness, he was not attempting to just win a gold medal in high jump, or in long jump then. He was attempting to win 4 gold medals, emulating his childhood hero, Jesse Owens. He managed to do that. Great performance by him. But this time round, he's hoping for another 4. That is a 4th gold medal. 1984, 88, 92.
Well, let's watch this one carefully, because it could well be that Lewis only has 1 jump in this qualifying round, and one doesn't get too many opportunities to watch Carl Lewis live on television. And of course, this is live action courtesy of CFI, Canal France International, throughout the African continent. So enjoy this while it is there. Carl Lewis, I'm not saying he won't do it, but if he does one would suspect that he will once again put on his tracksuit and go home. 35 years of age now, Carl Lewis. The 1st of July this year, he turned 35, just 3.5 weeks ago now. And Carl Lewis, arguably, some believe the greatest athlete of the 20th century. And those 4 gold medals that he got in those previous Olympics, the 100 meters, the 200 meters, the long jump, and the 4x100 relay. What a moment that was. But let's watch the great Carl Lewis.
Also has a time limit, so he wants to make certain. He would prefer to qualify with 1 jump. It might just not be there. It could be there, but I dare say it might be something else.
Well, the white flag was up, so it was a legal jump.
It's a safe jump, there's no doubt about it. Still one of the men that has got, from a biomechanical point of view, the best technique in the world, running technique that is, and his long jump not far behind. Just kept that in a moment. result. No, it's walking back. I don't think we do have a distance just yet, but yeah, 7.93.
Well, 12 centimeters short, and somehow I think the crowd has mixed feelings about that. On one hand, they'd like to see Carl Lewis jump 9 meters, jump 10 meters. They'd also like to see him have another shot so that he doesn't go home too soon. Mike Powell now.
Often the most difficult. Just getting to the different things. Oh, that was a great jump. I very well think that that might be gone the full distance. He also thinks so. He has to wait for the measure to go. But he's quite convinced that he's got it. Slow down his own little thing. He didn't keep maintain his speed, but he's not looking for an 8:50. All he wants is an 8:05. That's enough for him. He would like to keep the best performance for the final. That's going to come. Not slowing down. He's a very tall man with very long levers. Quite difficult for a man of his stature to gather effectively at the plank, get a good takeoff. He's got it. He's happy. 8:20, and he will have no further attempt today. That's the javelin sector, where the 6th event in the ladies' heptathlon is currently taking place. They finished off 4 events yesterday. 3 today.
Well, I think it's time now for another medal presentation. As we watch Sabine Brown, one of the leaders in the competition, the heptathlon competition.
She's one of the veterans, one can say that, in this heptathlon. She's been around for some time. She has the experience, and she was in 6th place coming into this competition, coming into the javelin. Completed the long jump this morning. Now, then they've also got the javelin this moment, and the 800 meters is still to come. That will conclude the competition.
That's 48.72. Remember, Gaida Chua a while ago through in the middle 50s, so that is not Sabine Brown's strong suit. But then in these heptathlon events, normally the athletes are pretty good all round. Some of them do have a very good strong point and a weak point. Well, coming onto the grass now, you can see the woman in the final medal handover for the marathon this morning, Fatima Roba of Ethiopia, going up to collect her medal, the gold medal for that wonderful performance in the marathon this morning when she won from the defending champion Valentina Yegorova, the Russian on the left, and on the right Yuko Amori of Japan. And what a wonderful run that was for the young Ethiopian. Really never been prominent in world competition amongst marathon runners. No pressure on her this morning, but she ran like a seasoned veteran. Great confidence and great confidence in her own ability to beat the best in the world.
Medals will be presented by His Excellency Louis Girondu.
She will get her gold medal and just reward for a fine performance.
Arthur Takash, member of the Council of the International Amateur Athletic Federation.
Fatima Roba, her winning time 2 hours 26 minutes and 5 seconds, was 2 minutes clear of Valentina Yegorova, 2:28.05, and Roba took the lead before the halfway.
Gold medalist representing Ethiopia.
Championne olympique et médaille d'or représentant
l'Éthiopie. She stretched the lead right from before halfway all the way to the finish. Never was any trouble at all, and got a rapturous welcome from her fans in the stadium. Ethiopians, wonderful distance runners in the traditions of Deratu Tulu, who's still in action in the 10,000 meters, Haile Gebrselassie, who will be attempting to win both the 5,000 and 10,000 meters, and the Ethiopians, wonderful long distance runners, and add to them the name Fatima Roba to that list.
Silver medalist representing the Russian Federation.
Médaille d'argent représentant la Russie.
Valentina Yegorova.
And Yegorova tried hard, but she couldn't make an impression on the Ethiopian athlete. She gave a spirited charge over the last 10 kilometers, but Roba was just too strong, and she kept her head and kept her lead, and at the end the Russian just settled for second place. A silver medal to go with the gold she earned in Barcelona. Not quite a matching pair, but really one can't complain about that sort of gold medal collection.
Médaille de bronze représentant le Japon.
Yuko Arimori.
And Amori was lying in second place, but she was overtaken towards the end of the race by Yegorova. And Amori was challenged in turn by the German Katrin Dore. Dore nearly got the better of her. They were racing down the final straight, and the distance between them only 6 seconds at the end. Amori's time for the third place, 2 hours, 28 minutes and 39 seconds. It really was a great marathon this morning, but totally dominated by the Ethiopian, and it will now be the chance for her to hear her national anthem. One wonders how many more times we're going to hear that before the end of this athletic competition. Gold medal for Africa. Fatima Roba takes gold in the women's marathon, and that was a wonderful performance. The time once again 2 hours, 26 minutes and 5 seconds. Second was Valentina Yegorova of Russia. Third, Yuko Amori of Japan, and the three of them there standing on the podium. A wonderful time, and there's lots of athletics to come. We'll be back after this break.